Hi. I'm extremely sorry for the delay this is causing, but there's some issue with the audio. Hello, can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm again apologetic for all this, what's happening. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, so can you see my screen now? All right. Okay, so a brief introduction about myself. I'm Nalam. You can call me Neil, and will be your trainer for this session. I hope you have not made a mess by already creating a lot of hustle here and there. Uh, this is about AWS, and you all have enrolled for a basic AWS, DevOps probably. So can you just give me a brief introduction about yourselves? We can start with you. Uh, how do I spell it? Trithankar. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, are you hearing me? Hello.
Yes, I can.
Uh,
Yes, I can.
Hi everyone, myself is Thankar Mahanti. Presently I am working in SL Technology as a SharePoint administrator and also
Okay.
sound knowledge in Microsoft Azure. So I
All
start
right.
to take a new concept about AWS. So I am testing to attend this demo session.
All right. Great. And Mr. Ravi, are you available? Okay, then who's next? Mr. Raju? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's start. I don't think we have much time left for introduction and all. Uh, I'll ask you to ping me in between if you have any doubts, and you can ping on chat, or you can just unmute yourself and speak on call as well. And we'll be starting, and so this is our course catalog as of. So I'll just brief you initially. So how much familiar you guys are with AWS? Anyone who's like doesn't even know what is it for, or like working on it for the first time?
Mm, Yeah. Hi, this is Madan. So actually, I'm working on e-commerce industry since 12 years. So yeah, actually, we are using like microservices now, and we were with WebSphere Commerce. So now we are switching to uh, AWS, and actually, most
So
probably like yeah, I work on the operations lead. Yeah, I'm just trying to explore like how the AWS works for us, and so how we can integrate that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
okay, great. Uh, during so this will be more into technical discussion of like how things work. For you, Mr. Madan, I think more of an architectural overview is required and all that. But yeah, we can like if we enroll and like through the course, we'll of course cover how which services are to be used, when they are to be used, like which piece of service is better, where you should do a self installation and manage that, and when you should use a AWS service, which is cost effective, which is solving your purpose, and all that. So we'll cover that and like as the course flows on. But for now, we'll keep it brief, a brief introduction to AWS, what it is, what the course is going to offer, and all that.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, I'm looking for development perspective as well. So, yeah, you can go ahead so that, like, we'll get to know
Yeah, all right.
what's the
Yeah,
context.
all
Yeah.
right. All right. Great. Okay. So, uh, why AWS? First of all, let's the basic question we start with. Uh, so AWS is like um, Amazon Web Services, they call themselves. So what is Amazon Web Services? Who can like answer that? Like first of all, like who can answer what is a cloud? Anyone who can just give a brief, you know?
Uh, Actually, cloud is the concept of some to access any storage, any software, any infra that the hosting in internet.
Yeah, pretty much there. So cloud, I say, is abstracting the application. You take away the application from the operating system. You remove the operating system dependency of any application and put it on the internet for people to use. Probably uh, the basic. So what AWS is not a cloud, more of an IaaS or a PaaS hybrid with SaaS as well. So what are all these IaaS and all? So it means the infrastructure as a service. So whatever we provide on cloud, maybe internet, maybe sorry, printer, maybe other uh, many other services like Office 365 is there. That is just an application as a service. And what AWS does, it gives you infra as service. So uh, we'll let you know more about the services which it provides and all that throughout the session. But uh, what is Amazon Web Services is a combination, a stack of deployment and administration of your application, providing many application services, providing the basic infra needs of compute, storage, and databases, then giving the networking layer which binds them all together, and AWS global infrastructure which gives multi-layer and geographical location-wise very wide uh, optionality to deploy and run your applications. So it's not a cloud, but it helps you build your own cloud. So it will be your infra, your network, everything you need to build your cloud. Okay, so next point comes is uh, how can you like you need a VM to do what to do in AWS to create a VM out of it. So you can just I'll just walk you through the AWS console. These are all the AWS services that are offered. So there are a lot, as you can see. All these are AWS services, and we can't cover all of them. So the main focus here will be on compute, storage, databases, networks, some briefing of migration, management, and security. Okay, like analytics and mobile services, all these are very domain specific and very use case specific things. So we won't go into details for that. Uh, so when we talk about cloud, so first thing we think of is a virtual machine running on a remote location, and you can just access it from anywhere, like SSH, or if it's a Windows remote desktop it to anywhere, and that is a cloud. But that is not the case basically. So people even call web hosting is was what cloud is, but that's not true. Cloud is much more. It gives you a lot of other optional options, such as application level abstraction. It gives you so that you can run any application from anywhere you want. There should be no OS dependencies, no installation dependencies. You can just click and start your applications. So what EC2 is, Elastic Cloud Compute, as AWS says it, is the basic VM that it provides. It gives you an option to select a self-created AMI, or you can create AMI is the image used for Amazon. So you can create a VM from that image. It's elastic, as in it can have elastic storage, it can have elastic load balancing, it can have elastic scalability as well. So all those factors make it highly elastic, that is highly scalable, highly efficient. EC2 container service is an elastic cloud compute container service. This is a Docker implementation on AWS. You have your Docker containers running on this, and you can orchestrate them using any of the Docker Swarm or Kubernetes. Then there is Lightsail. Lightsail is it's a managed VM service, so it's still in preview, I guess. So it's not. I don't think it's available in all the locations, but yeah, it's a managed, previewed. You don't have to manage your VM, the OS upgrades, the thinking about downtimes and all that. You just don't need to think about that. Lightsail will manage everything for you. Beanstalk is for deployment. It's like if you have a set of 5 to 6 applications or the services in EC2 you want to use, you can just configure them in Beanstalk, and auto deployment mode can be configured with that. So like a chain of deployment will be done automatically. Okay, and Lambda is more of serverless computing. When I say serverless, it doesn't mean it's not using any servers. Servers are there in the backend, but for a developer or for an organization, it just doesn't matter what server is there, which server is there, and how it's being used. You just need to write a function, and that function will directly run on the Lambda. Lambda itself is they call it the Lambda function. So it supports, I think, 3 languages as of now. But yeah, it's really useful and it's really coming handy, and it's very heavy active development is happening on this front. Okay, and batch is also a new service provided by Compute for some sort of batch processing. Storage options then, so different types of storage options are there. S3 is one object storage. If you want to ask something, if you want to repeat me something, you can just ping me in between. Okay. Let me know if I'm going too fast, too slow, or you want to do things in some different way. You can let me know. Okay, so storage is S3. S3 is what, according to Amazon, is an object storage. And what object storage are like, they have files or whatever, images or documents stored in a key value manner. Key value pair is like as a NoSQL database or any key value storage has. There will be a key like a one mapped to a file name, and you can just access that key from anywhere. Like you'll have a URL, global accessible URL. You can just hit that URL and that you can access that file from there and then. So this will have mappings with keys to the, you can just
Sir,
access them.
sir, it is support both
Yeah.
structure and unstructured data.
Yes, you can, like, you can put log files, you can put like, you should not be going for structured data for this case, because structured, we will prefer putting it some database or something. But any, image files or log files or documentation files,
Image file, video file, all things, BSD file also are stored in this, no?
yeah, you can, or you put all of them in S3, and it will have a key value to that, and you can just access it from.
Not used
Okay.
in structured data, structural data.
Preferably not. You can, but there is no advantage of using S3 there.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Then there is EFS. It's Elastic File Storage. It's also much like that, but it's not an object key value store. It's, you can just keep files at one place, and you can just access them from anywhere you want. Glacier is for, as the name suggests, it's a cold storage kind of a thing, which is very cheap, and but it's very, like, time taking. If you want to access something from the Glacier, it will be a lot of time required to access that. Then there is storage gateway. This is, as any other gateway, it's a pathway to which storage you want to choose and all that. Then there is this very important services that AWS provide the databases. First is the RDS. RDS is a relational database service. So any relational database you can use RDS for that. So there are two options, right? You can have a VM from EC2, create a VM, install your MySQL, install your Oracle or any other on that, and then access it. But using a RDS service is, you don't need to do the installations, you don't need to do the upgrades, you don't need to do any kind of management of the server. You just with a few clicks, I'll just show you how with a few clicks you are able to create the RDS instance, and you can anytime use it from anywhere, just like any other of your databases, and it will work exactly as the version you have chosen, maybe MySQL, maybe MS SQL or Oracle or MariaDB or whatever you choose. So it will work exactly like a database installed in a VM, but without any operational overheads of management and other. And scaling it will be also like very easy task. You just without any downtime, you can scale it or scale down it. You can create replications, you can create clusters. All of that you can do with RDS. And similarly, RDS is for relational databases. DynamoDB is its NoSQL database. So if you're using Mongo somewhere and you're having configuration issues or scalability issues with Mongo in your systems, you can go for DynamoDB. It will be a pay-as-you-go service, and you don't have to manage anything. You just, with a few clicks, it's set up, no installation required, and just use it as per your needs. Then Elastic Cache. Elastic Cache is AWS version for Memcache. It is again elastic because it's highly scalable. You pay per request, you store all your data in the RAM, and you can just do whatever you like, however you want to scale it. And this is also very useful for storing your keys and flags, for which mostly Redis and Memcached is used on VM, but then again background saving and clustering of those is very difficult, but with AWS this becomes really easy. Amazon Redshift is another database offering. So this is more like what do you call call it that, uh, like uh, if you want less frequently data to be stored, like a warehouse or something like that, you can use Amazon Redshift. Okay, then we'll also be covering network throughout this course, and uh, four basic services that network are VPC. VPC is your virtual private cloud. If you guys understand what VPN is pretty much a virtual private network which was used for in networking concepts. So similar to that, if we want to like restrict our cloud to be accessed from anywhere outside, we will create a cloud which is uh, interlinked with everything inside, every component inside it is interlinked, but it is not accessible from outside. So we can have security. It will provide us better security, and it will give you a good brief of how you can manage multiple VPCs and isolate your environments. Then there is CloudFront. CloudFront is like a CDN. CDN for uh, content delivery networks. As if anyone of you knows how they work, CDNs are for faster content delivery across remote networks. So if let us suppose the data center is in Mumbai or Singapore and you are accessing it from Delhi, so CloudFront will have its a small edge servers, that is called edge servers, at the Delhi location and in the multiple locations nearby. So those edge servers will cache the data from the main data center and they'll serve the data from there itself. So this concept of edge computing is achieved using CloudFront. Then there is Direct Connect. Direct Connect is for better network connectivity through your, if you are working across the globe. And Route 53 is to manage your routes on the DNS. So as this is a demo, I'm just briefing you on like very slight overviews. I'll just I'll just go to through RDS and create one RDS instance for you, but I won't be going in detail of any of the topics. And if you want to know about some specific topic, you can just let me know. I'll emphasize on it a bit. Okay, then we'll be migration is for moving in and out of migration. AWS, if you want to migrate your data centers, Snowball is there. If you want to do some server migration, that is a service. If you want to do some database migration, there are services for that, so they help you in that. So we'll just get a brief on these in this course, and we won't be covering developer tools, but these are for developers to enhance their development cycles. If they want to deploy, build, commit, and all that, so they can use any of these services. Management tools is a very important part, and because CloudWatch is for monitoring, and monitoring and metrics are one very important aspect of system administration, or you can say DevOps these days. So monitoring is achieved via CloudWatch in AWS. All the services, all the VMs, all the RDS instances or whatever is running on your VPC or however you plan to run it will be monitored using CloudWatch, and you can have your alarms settings done on that, so that whenever something is wrong, you can get an alarm. You have good metrics. You can just analyze them, and then you'll also have a lot of a comparisonal. If you want to compare some data from load balancers, okay, how many good 200 requests were there, how many bad requests were there. You can analyze all that data using CloudWatch metrics, and you can also have alarms so that you get notified. Okay, there is a few other managed services for management as well, uh, which we'll be covering in the details. And then there is security and identity compliance, which is if AWS is even much more secure than a private data center. So if people think that healthcare, mostly healthcare and even banking sector, they prefer their own data centers because of security reasons. But to build a data center as secure as AWS, it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I don't think people in like it's that easy to achieve. So it's better to use these services, and they are security compliant. If even if HIPAA and stuff like that, there is many US security compliance for healthcare data and banking data. All of those compliances are met by AWS. So for internal user management, there is IAM rules. Even if some app is accessing your storage or S3 RDS or something, any application you want, any application to access any of these services, you can configure IAM rules for that application, and you can use those rules as you'll get a key pair, and using that key pair you can access your uh, service here on Amazon. So it is a very secure way of granting access as well as accessing it later. So that's pretty much it. That's all we'll be covering. We won't be going into artificial intelligence or analytics or all that. These are very user specific or maybe domain specific or use case specific things. If you have any maybe a pipeline or something which you want to set up or build, you can do that from AWS. But yeah, once you have your application running on all these using all these services, you'll be familiar enough to use any other services then and integrate it into your application. Uh, so this is it. We have recognized the terminologies. We have navigated a bit into the console. We'll do a bit more. Security measures are like they are really high. You can there are IAM roles. There is VPCs. There is security group layers, firewalls, and everything that is required to be. And then we'll go to differentiate between AWS storage options and create an Amazon bucket. I think we have differentiated how these are different from each other. And let's create an Amazon S3 bucket. So when you select services and click on S3, uh, okay, something like this kind of a dashboard is there. There are a lot of buckets already here. It's a demo account. Just don't need to think about that. You can select your location from here. In which location does not you want to do. S3 does not require region selection because S3 is a global storage. From wherever you'll access, it will provide you from the nearest spot available, and you can just create a bucket. Give any bucket name. You can select any region which you want the bucket to be in. Then you can have if you want any existing buckets settings, or you can select that. If you don't want, you can just skip it. Demo is already there. So this has to be unique across all existing bucket names in Amazon S3. So that is a lot of buckets. So you need to be really unique. So people generally use some random function or some hash value to generate these numbers, because getting a unique name every time will be difficult. So you can have a demo test that should be there. Yeah, this is fine. Not valid. Let's put some random hash to it. Demo. This way we can create some random name. So this has to be random because it will be a public URL which will be available for everyone to use. So it cannot be like match with anyone else. It cannot be a mismatch, and two S3 buckets, if they have the same URL, which one to call will not be possible. So now you have your properties. If you want to keep versioning of your data, if you want tagging, you want object level logging, server access logging, you can choose which. You can just enable anything. If I enable versioning, whenever I put a file, it will be versioned. First file, when I put it for the first time, it will be version 1, and as multiple times I insert that file, it will be versioned further. So for Artifactory management, like Docker images and all that, this is a very good storage option. Permissions you can give to your users. All the users you create with them, you can give permissions, you can give any objects, you can give object level permission, and you can also give user level permission. You can add for other access for other AWS accounts. You can manage public permissions, that if this content is to be made available publicly or not, and you can give system permissions as well. Then you can just review your settings, whatever you have like decided, and you can just do a create bucket. So one thing you must have noticed, we did not define what size is of this storage because there is no size. It can grow to the maximum you want it to, and you'll be charged on the basis of how many inputs and outputs you do on that file. If you just do keep it there, won't charge you much, but if the more you access that file, you will be charged on the basis of that. If you access it like 1,000 times per minute, you will have a good bill for you to pay. So the basic funda of the billing for S3 works as a get and a put request. If you get something or if you put into something, you'll be charged. Otherwise, you won't be. So this is the bucket we created, demo something, just to provide random name. And this is the ARN. If I just copy here and paste it here, so it looks like this. This has to be unique for every bucket. And you'll also get so to access it, you'll have its URLs and everything here in the properties. You can manage its life cycle if you want to replicate it, if you want to perform some analytics, see some metrics, or all that you can do from here. Okay, if you want to know how to upload an object, you can always have AWS documentation helping you out. And yeah, that's pretty much. And create folders within this, and there is one more feature of website hosting. It can act exactly like a website. This will be the endpoint for that. The name .s3 website.ap Amazon Web AWS.com. You can directly use this URL to get anything on this. If it is a static HTML website, you can just put your HTML, CSS, JS pages to the S3 and enable this option and use this URL to directly host your website. Nothing will be required. Okay. So yeah, this is one of the services. After S3, we'll like to move to RDS. RDS is the relational database service, which is also one of the most widely used service from AWS. In RDS, I already have a DB instance running, which I'll just stop. Okay, so when you open the RDS dashboard, you'll get an option to launch your DB instance. Once click on that, you'll get these options. Amazon Aurora is its own Postgres compatible enterprise class database, which is like a cluster of database and self-managed. So this has some advantages, like it 3 times the throughput of PostgreSQL, 5 times the throughput of MySQL, 264 TB of auto scaling SSD storage, 6-way replication across 3 availability zones, 15 read replicas with sub 10 ms replica lag, and automatic monitoring and failover in less than 30 seconds. So this is what Amazon has created its own service, which you can use, or you can directly use any of your own distributions which you want, like MySQL, Myria, Postgres, Oracle, or SQL Server. Okay, so let's suppose that I want to go with MySQL. I'll select MySQL. I'll just, if the community edition or the Aurora edition you can select, I'll just go for the community edition as of now. For production, you should use with multi-AZ deployment. I'll just select that. What is multi-AZ? I'll just explain it to you in a minute. The model is general public license. It comes under GPU, and DB version, whichever version you want to choose, you can select from the drop down. Then is the DB instance class. This is like here you can see the bill of this, how much it will cost. So the DB instance class, this is which size you want the instance to be, where MySQL server would be running. A 1 core 1 GB, a 1 core 2 GB, or whatever that is. You can go up to as much as 244 GB, 32 core RAM, or 30 cores, 2 core CPU and 244 gigs of RAM, or as minimum as 1 core 1 GB. You can select any. Then there is multi-AZ deployment. What is this now? So multi-AZ deployment is multi-availability zone deployment. If I select yes, then this instance will have its own replica in the multiple availability zones. So if due to some reason one availability zone is down and Amazon is not able to access that availability zone, it can serve your data from the other availability zone without any hindrance to your services. Even if you want to perform some minor updates, or even you want some data migration activity to be done, or a backup, or anything of that sort which might require downtime, with multi AZ on, you can do it without any problem, without any downtime. Okay, then the storage type is SSD, general purpose, or you can use provisioned IOPS. Allocated storage, any minimum storage or maximum storage you want to give. So the minimum is 100 GB and maximum is 6144, that is 6 TB. Provision IOPS, you can increase and decrease. This will affect your cost directly. Multi-AZ deployment, allocated storage, and provision IOPS. These are the factors which are responsible for costing of RDS service. Give any instance identifier, like this is a demo test instance. So you can give any username. I'll just give any simple username. Any password will work. Just more than 8 characters, and they do not match. Okay, so just with a click, you have your specifications done. Now you just need to configure the VPCs. Select any VPC you want this to be a part of. Should it be publicly accessible or not? You decide that. Give it a security group and create a database inside it. You can give a database name from here itself. Choose default port or change the port. You can decide that. So changing a MySQL port was never so easy, I feel. So you can just you need a few clicks and uh, backup retention period, set up a backup window on which timings like UTC 00 I can afford some downtime. So not some downtime, even a less peak time, so that I have less requests, I can take a backup at that point. Otherwise, if end time is okay, you can put no preference. Monitoring is again enabled, enhanced monitoring with CloudWatch. What is the monitoring role? You have different roles there. You have granularity, you can decrease it, increase it, how you want it. And then maintenance, if you have minor upgrades, how when to do it. If you want any window, you can select a window here as well, or you can just do no preference and click launch, and it's done. Your VM is provisioned with MySQL installed in it, with endpoints exposed and configurations done in just like I think less than 5 minutes. So if you go to do it manually, it will definitely take more time, but also the management and maintenance will take more time, which you are all saved off in this case. Now if you go to instances, this is the instance and which is creating for now, but yeah, it will soon be created. So yeah, that's pretty much from this. If you once this is created, I can show you the actions we can perform on this. You can create a read replica with a few clicks. We can create a Aurora read replica with another few clicks. So if you want a backup, you can just select a backup and that is done. Migrate that backup to some other account. Want to create another RDS instance with larger disk, you can do all that here. Okay, so that's yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any doubts or questions you want to ask, please. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Uh, Sir, in the AWS provide a SaaS as a software as a service.
Yeah, so there are many softwares which is providing which it is providing as a service. Even if you consider MySQL a software, it is providing it as a service. But other than that, you can see, if you want any CloudFront is for CDN, Elasticache is a Redis or Memcached version of AWS. So all these are softwares which it's providing as a service. Even the notification hub and all that. So simple notification service and simple queue service these are all uh, softwares which you can use as a service.
Queue service means it is like sender and receiver concept.
Right, right. It's like RabbitMQ or Kafka, if you have heard of. So it's more of like that. It has a sender receiver, like a, uh, you know, it will,
Uh,
it will. You can give data or you can send events via this.
sir, in Azure, that concept is called is relay messaging, or it is a broker messaging.
Azure also has something like, I think it's more similar to stream analytics, or maybe not stream analytics.
No, no, I'm
It's
not.
not much
But
of.
there are two concepts there for relay messaging and the queue broker messaging. In brokers messaging, is the topics and queue are available.
Yes, yes, it's more similar to that. It has its broker. You'll have your topics and all. So it's simple queue
Yeah.
services like that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else has any questions or wants to ask something?
So this course is also covers like um, uh, creating a service, and then how we can do a package and move to the cloud services. So we do cover, right?
Uh, what we'll basically cover is this is the course contents. I'll just briefly go through it. There are basic concepts, the securities, networking, elastic cloud computing, S3, route images, databases, and application services, whatever you want. Then disaster recovery and monitoring and metrics. Then there is a topic for deployment and provisioning, which has like deployment with auto scaling, blue-green deployment, version
Mm-hmm.
updates with auto scaling, and cloud formation for provisioning.
Okay.
But as you know, if cloud formation is just AWS specific, we can have a brief discussion on Terraform as well, which
Yeah.
is the thing for provisioning every multiple types of cloud. So all these will cover, but uh, if you want to like get into how the yeah, if you want to first of all define an architecture of your packaging, how you should
Mm-hmm.
use Docker or you should use any other
Yeah.
container platform, or how you
Mm-hmm.
can create that image and all that. So can like
Yeah.
have brief discussions on that, but as part of the course, it's mostly focused on AWS. I'm not an like AWS brand ambassador or something, but I can just give you solutions outside that as well. But
Okay.
but yeah, it will
Okay.
be focused on different deployment strategies within AWS.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right then. I'll be wrapping this off. If you guys have any queries, you can ask Instinct Mind people, and they'll help you connect with me. And I hope to see some of you. All right. We'll be leaving for now.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.